to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, conceal carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
I am back. It is Monday afternoon, and once again, I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And today, it is just me. It is Monday afternoon. Kind of interesting. I know the last podcast just released yesterday, which was a Sunday, and I am actually going to be gone this upcoming weekend, and I didn't want to leave you guys without one. The weekends that we can't do one, and we don't actually get one done, it really bothers me, and I get tons of text messages from you guys, and I'm so glad that I do. I'm glad that everyone listens, but I get text messages going, where's the podcast? I need the podcast. It's Wednesday. I'm still waiting on the podcast. Well, life gets in the way sometimes. I need to just go ahead and really make sure that doesn't happen anymore. Try my best to do them on my own. The ones I do on my own are a little shorter. They're maybe not as fun as when I have the other guys in here, but it's better than nothing. So today I thought I would. Actually, the time I am doing this on Monday. I'm going to release it probably this weekend. I'll probably have it released like on Saturday. And while you guys are getting it as this downloads on Saturday, and you guys start listening to it, I will be over in Gold Beach, Oregon, and I will be running on the beach. Running on the trail, wherever it might take me over there. But I will be probably not in a good state of mind, to be honest with you. I'll be in the middle of a 50-mile race, and probably be wondering to myself what the hell I was thinking. So anyhow, you can just you can think about me, and maybe you're sitting back in front of the fire, maybe you're out hunting or fishing or doing something a little more fun than I am. Anyhow, think of me and think of all my suffering. I'll hopefully be back the next day. Late the next day, and if you see me in town, say hi. I'll probably be stumbling around, probably be having a hard time walking by the time I get done. If I complete this thing, I want to finish it. I think I'm going to finish it, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I thought I'd put together a little show for you, the listeners. And I wasn't quite sure what I'd talk about today. There's not really a whole lot of news stories specifically that has come out since we did the last one. Tarver's kind of our government story guy, so he's not here to jump on that. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about, about living your life. So I am going to Oregon for this race, and as everybody knows, Oregon does not recognize anyone else's concealed carry permit. So yes, I am going down there, and I will not have a firearm with me at all. So typically in the past, whenever I go running or whenever I run some of these races, I will actually take my little 45, little firearm, my concealed carry gun, and I will tuck it into my running vest and have it with me during the race. I do it because I can. Well, I'm not going to be able to do that because Oregon's a no-go. So I'm leaving it behind. I am going on a trip with my family, and I am not going to have a firearm on me. I'm not going to have one in the vehicle with me. And I don't know. I was thinking about that this morning, and it's gonna feel kind of weird. Typically, I conceal carry wherever I legally can, which is every day at one point or another, and I will not have one with me. So it's kind of gonna take some time, take a little time to adjust to it. I think it's gonna feel kind of weird. But here's the thing: there's a lot of places even around here where we can't carry. There's a lot of activities at my kids' schools and stuff like that. As much as I'm all for concealed carry, I'm all for the Second Amendment, I'm all for the carrying of firearms wherever you can. I do have a life to live, and we're all like that. Sometimes we take this so serious, and it is a serious thing. Carrying a gun is a serious thing, and I'm pretty diehard about it. But there's places that I go sometimes where I can't have my firearm. One of those places happens to be at my kid's school. If I want to go to my son's band concert, or if I want to go to a football game or some kind of Christmas performance or whatever, and I do want to go and support my kids. I love them. And so I want to be there for them to show my support, show them how proud of them that I am. Some places I can't have my firearm, but I go anyway, right? Sometimes I do have to swing by the post office, and I'm not allowed to have a firearm in there. So I go in there without a firearm. The courthouse, the DMV, places like that. And occasionally I do leave the state, like I'll be doing this weekend. And I can't take my firearm with me when I go to Oregon, depending on where I'm headed. So I'm not going to have one with me, but I'm still going to go. I'm going to enjoy my life. Now, I know there's some people out there that would say, Todd, what are you doing? Just boycott the state, boycott the school, don't go to the post office, ban those places that have those signs. You know what? Frankly, I have to live my life. I have to live my life. I have to enjoy it. And so I'm going to carry where I can carry, but there's some places that I do like to go or that I have to go to that I can't carry, and that's just the way it's going to be. That doesn't mean that I don't support the Second Amendment. Doesn't mean that I am anti-gun. Trust me, I am not. It just means that I am going to enjoy my life. I'm going to live it to the fullest. I'm going to support my kids. I'm going to go and I'm going to have those experiences and do those things that I need to do or that I want to do, and I'm not going to have my firearm with me. This spring, me and my wife we're taking a vacation together, just me and her, and we didn't even really get a honeymoon. This will be 25 years we've been married, and we are going to fly over to Hawaii. And guess what? I'm not taking my firearm with me there. They don't recognize it there. I'm flying, and that's kind of a big pain in the butt anyhow. But the fact that Hawaii won't recognize it means I have to leave it at home. I'm going to go do it, and I'm going to go up there and be up there for 5-6 days, and I'm not going to fret about it. I'm going to enjoy the time with my wife, and these are the times where you may not have a firearm with you, but you can do other things. Practice. You can practice that situational awareness. You don't have a weapon of any kind, so maybe you need to be more aware of your surroundings. You need to not go into that sketchy neighborhood, or be careful where you're going, and stay away from those areas that bad things may happen to you. You just have to pay attention a little more. You can avoid it. Now, if you are somewhere where you can carry a firearm, by all means carry it. That's in my book, in my mind, that's the best thing to do. Carry that firearm when and wherever you legally can. But if you can't, then you just need to be a little more careful, pay more attention to your surroundings, and again, like I said, live your life. That's one of the things I wanted to talk to. And like I said, these are just kind of short and simple and to the point, but it's, thoughts I have during the week that sometimes they don't come out on one of the bigger podcasts. So I like to talk about them on these shorter ones. Another thing is, we talked about on the last podcast a little bit is safety. We talked about, having like your PPE. So for those of you that don't have a job where you have to wear PPE, PPE is personal protective equipment. And when you're shooting, personal protective equipment would be eyes and ears, especially, eyes all the time, but especially your ears. You cannot it's really hard to get your hearing back if you go to lose it. If you lose it, you do not want to damage it. Wear that hearing. I don't care if you don't wear it while you're hunting. I don't care what you do in your off time, but if you are in my class, you will be wearing your hearing protection, your PPE. You will be safe. You will obey my rules, and there'll be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just the way it is. And a few weeks ago I've never had a problem with that in my class, but a few weeks ago in one of my concealed carry classes, my permit classes, I had a gentleman. I looked up and I thought he had hearing protection on. I thought he had some of those close, tight fit, like hearing aid type protectors. They're more of a professional type personal fit, but he did not. I thought he had those though, and he did not. And I realized about halfway through the class, and I asked him to put his hearing protection on, and he said no. And then I told him he needed to put his hearing protection on, and he said no. And we started arguing about it a little bit. And finally, I'm just like, And I regret doing this now that I think about it, but, live and learn. I looked at him and I said, whatever, you signed the waiver, I guess do what you want at this point. But I had, 10, 12 other students looking at me, waiting. They wanted to finish the class. The weather was getting a little windy, a little inclement maybe, and we needed to get rolling and get done. And this guy was just being a hassle, just kind of being a pain. And I didn't want to sit there and argue with him, so we moved on. And hindsight's 20/20, but I should have insisted that he put on some kind of ear pro. And I always have ear pro. If someone doesn't have eyes or ears when they show up to class, I always have stuff that they can borrow. I make it happen. And I regret my decision. I feel bad about this. It really wasn't a good example of what I believe. And it's not going to happen again. You come take my class, you wear eyes and ears, and that's just going to be the way it is. You're gonna have to do it. So, what else do I want to talk about here? It's okay. Let's do this. Holsters, right? Holsters. Let's talk about holsters. It's a question I've been getting in a lot of my classes lately. I've been doing a lot of private classes. A lot of people who are brand new to guns, maybe haven't shot them at all before. I just went out and bought one, whatever. They come in, they've had questions for me. What I want to eventually, when I get comfortable shooting this firearm, I want to be able to carry it. How can I do so? And a lot of this is, there's a lot of women that have been taking private classes asking me that question. Well, there's tons of different holsters. And I just want to encourage you not to go out and buy the first cheap holster that you find. You can go out and buy a cheap Uncle Mike's or something like that, and you get what you pay for. If you're spending $20-$30 on it, that, my friend, is what you're going to get. It's not going to be that great of a holster. The gun's not going to fit properly. It's going to be a loose fit. It's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be safe. It's not going to protect the trigger. You need to, you go out and you spend $600-$700 on a firearm. Don't all of a sudden scrimp on the holster. Buy a good holster. Plan on spending anywhere from, $60 to, $120 on a holster, depending on what style you want to get. Now, this means that you probably aren't going to be able to go buy one off the shelf. Most of your good quality holsters are going to be custom built just for you. You're probably going to have to go online. You're going to have to call someone and talk to them about it, or you're going to have to go online and you're going to have to order one from some of the bigger holster producers, such as Crossbreed, Alien Gear, Keeper's Concealment, or you can find a local guy. Typically, there's some local guys in just about every area that do really good leather work. Maybe that they build them out of Kydex. You need to research it. You need to get a good quality holster, one that you feel comfortable in, and they can usually make it in whatever configuration you want, with whatever clips you want. They can even get fancy and do colors and whatever you want. Whether you want appendix carry, do you want to carry it 3 o'clock? I mean, I know people that have made up, good shoulder holsters, ankle holsters, you name it. There's all different ways to carry, and quality is a must. Quality is a must. I can't stress that enough. I've heard stories. I've had people report to me of holsters they were using where they holstered their firearm up. They went to town and it wasn't a very high quality holster, or it was a shirt with a weird pocket in it just for, made just for a gun, and they bend over and the gun falls out, right? I mean, that's not a good holster. That's not a good system. It didn't hold the gun in place. It didn't hold it tight. There was no form of retention on it, and bad things happened. That's when accidents happen. The gun falls out, someone picks it up, and who shouldn't have it, and pulls the trigger. You don't know. You need to buy proper gear. Proper gear, and will protect the gun. Will allow you to carry with a round chambered when you're comfortable, and it'd just be the safest way to carry the gun in public. I know I talked about a story. Actually, a story that was told to me by a friend of mine in a town a few hours away, where he was in the Walmart, and he saw a guy carrying a handgun that he had, and he said it looked like it's about ready to fall out. And the next thing he knows, the gun falls out, the magazine falls out, ammo rolls all over the floor, in the produce section of the Walmart. I mean, that's not good. We don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person that I'm telling a story about. You don't want to be that person that causes Walmart to all of a sudden deny us carrying our firearms in their facility. People watch, people learn. You need to be a good example for everyone else. So pay attention to what you're doing and do it correctly. One more thing I wanted to touch on, and I don't know, we do a gun podcast, and sometimes we get a little offline, a little bit off topic, and we're going to do that again right now. I want to say, I've over the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I guess I've kind of got on this health journey, this healthy kick, right? This fitness kick. I started eating better. I lost a bunch of weight. I started running. I go work out in the gym. I do CrossFit, all that kind of crazy stuff that everyone gives me a hard time about. But you know what? I find that overall, if you are truly focused and dedicated to carrying a firearm to protect you, your life, and the life of your loved ones, and you're going to make that a lifestyle, then you need to look at getting physically fit as well as fit and able to skilled at shooting a firearm. You need to. I'm not saying you need to go run 10 miles. I'm not saying you need to go and bench press 300 pounds or deadlift 650 pounds. That's not what I'm saying. You need to take stock of yourself, and you need to be more physically fit than probably what you are. I mean, are you able to grapple with someone? Are you able to wrestle on the ground with someone, to fight someone for an extended period of time? Are you strong enough and quick enough and agile enough to keep your firearm from being taken from you? Are you able to, do you have enough cardio to be able to grab your child or turn around and run with your family across the parking lot? To get to your car, to get to cover, to get out of a building. I mean, are you able to do that without having a heart attack? Are you able to do that without getting wore out? That's all part of living the armed lifestyle. It's being fit and being able to do this stuff. Like I said, you don't need to go out and be able to run a triathlon, but you need to be better than where you are now. We can all be better than where we are now, right? We should all strive to do that. We should all strive to go out and shoot our firearm that we are going to carry to protect ourselves with and become proficient and at the use of it. We should all strive for that. Well, you need to combine that with being fit, being able to move and shoot, all that stuff. Being able to carry a gun well, carry in a nice holster, being able to conceal it properly. That all comes with it. We all need, and I know that, and I'm not trying to pick on anyone here, because I struggle every day. I work out a lot. I run a lot. I'm very picky with what I eat. And, I still struggle trying not to put on weight. I still struggle trying not to get out of shape. But we all need to focus on it as much as we can. And it's just like shooting. Some are going to be better than others, and for others it's going to be more of a struggle. But we all need to start somewhere. And if that's simply getting up and walking around the block, then that's what it takes. If that's getting on a treadmill and running on a treadmill or walking on a treadmill, I'm not saying you need to get out and run. If that's walking, if that's watching your diet, if whatever, we all need to start somewhere. It's that important, right? It's that important. We all need to be healthy. And you know what? The stronger you are, the more fit you are, the better you can move. That's all going to transfer over in your ability to shoot well, to shoot well as well. That doesn't mean that if you're not in shape and you're not going to be able to shoot, but it's going to be easier. You're going to be able to get on the ground, get up off the ground, take a kneeling position to shoot. You're going to be able to carry better and easier, and you're going to be able to go out and shoot and run some drills and stuff like that without getting out of breath. It's that important, and I encourage everyone to get out and do what you can. If that means having a salad every now and then, if that means walking around the block, if maybe that's you doing 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups a night, do that every day until you get a little bit better, and you can add a little bit more. Start somewhere. Start today, right? I mean, do the best that you can. So anyhow, those are my thoughts for the week. I don't know if you guys are going to like this one near as much as all the other ones, but that's what you're going to get this week, and we will be back the next, not this weekend, but we'll be back the next weekend, and we will get something put together. Until then, think of me on Saturday when you're kicked back watching the football game, and I'm out there trying to drag my sorry body, my sorry self over the finish line of my 50-mile run. And I just want to throw this out there too, because I know that they'll all be listening. The guys that come in here every week, and Tarver and Mark and Dean and Josh when he can join us, and even Eric when he shows up. He hasn't been here for a while, but when he does show up, all these guys do this out of we're not getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid for this, and I'm definitely not paying the guys to come in here. And I really appreciate them, and I'm thankful that they will give up that time away from their personal lives, their families, their work, whatever, that they can make it in here and sit down and do this silly thing we call the Patriot Defense Podcast. I really appreciate it. Without them, you guys would just get me, and I don't think anybody wants to hear me drone on and on just like this every single week. I think the more people we get in here, it gives it a little depth, it gives it a little balance. We have a good time, we kind of play off each other, and that's what I want to keep doing moving forward. So if you guys are listening, thanks for the guys that joined me on the podcast. Thanks to all the, we haven't had a lot, but thanks to the few guests that we've had on the podcast. I know we don't officially keep count of how many podcasts we've done, but you know what? We've done quite a few. We've been doing this for a few years now, so I think I'm going to get on the line and see if I can actually figure out how many episodes we've actually done, and maybe I'll bring that up in the next podcast, and we will chat about that. But until then, everyone have a good week. Remember, get out, shoot, get out, walk around the block, do some push-ups, and go out and live your life. And if that means you can't have your firearm with you because you want to go eat at a certain restaurant, that means you want to go visit your buddy who lives in Oregon and you can't take your firearm there, just relax, just go do it. Just be aware of your surroundings and have an enjoyable time. Until then, thanks for listening. Bye.